learners, welcome to Certificate in Food and Nutrition program. Today we will be talking about our food habits. It is in CFN 2 Block 5 Unit 16. Myself Dr. Shalini Kushwaha, Assistant Professor, Discipline of Nutritional Science, Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi. While studying, you will be able to explain the main factors which affect food habits. You can state the reasons for variation in food preferences, and you can help children to form healthy food habits, as well as you can guide adults to adopt good food habits, and you can identify motives for modifying food habits and use these as a guide to improve their food habits. So, as you have learned about nutritional assessment in the earlier chapters, you must be knowing about the dietary evaluation of the individual. You have done that. While doing, you must learn that individuals' preferences are different. These are the habits which are the powerful force in deciding what person eat. We tend to eat according to our set food habits, and like all habits, these may be good or poor. Individual preferences are different. So, let's understand how food habits are formed so that we can take appropriate measures towards building good food habits. Formation of food habits. There are mainly three factors which decide the formation of food habits. First is regional and community variation, second is our personal factors, and third is the other influences which influence our food habits. So, let us talk about the regional and community variations. Food habits are affected by food production and supply. Like, for example, rice is the staple food in the west and south of India, while jowar is the staple in the Deccan Plateau and wheat in the northern part of the India, because these staples are grown and produced in high amount in these areas, and we get easily these staples in our diet. Secondly, the amount and kinds of food we eat depend on the money that one can spend for food. Money is also important because it decides what kind of food we purchase in our daily diet. Thirdly, your family eating patterns is dictated by the geographical region, religion, community, and family beliefs and practices developed over several generations. As you have known that while doing dietary evaluation, you must come across that different peoples of different religion have their different beliefs regarding food habits and food preferences. These geographical regions and community and family beliefs mainly influence our food habits. In India, certain communities are vegetarian and others are non-vegetarian. Even non-vegetarians may abstain from meat or fish on Monday religious beliefs. Beside these, a large number of non-vegetarian in India may rarely include meat in their diet due to its high cost. Eating habits are affected by the region where we live. You must be knowing that in the coastal region, people use fish in their diet, whereas you find that it is an essential part of their food pattern. Like Punjabis use a large amount of milk and lassis, and religion and region influence the food pattern and food habits in individual. You find that the dal, the vegetables and fruits you habitually eat are you move to, for example, Tamilians residing in Bombay or Calcutta retain their food pattern, which includes rice, sambar made from wheat preparations, rajma, palak and peas You may realize that from the nutritional point of view, it makes little difference whether the leafy vegetable is amaranth or palak. Thus, all regional patterns can meet the nutritional needs of people if sufficient. Our social customs about different pattern regarding food. Let's talk about second factor, that is personal factors. On the personal level, your attitude may be modified by the atmosphere in which you eat. A happy atmosphere or an unhappy one will affect your reactions to food and eating. You have your own personal response to the taste of the food. Like for example, you have seen when you are happy or in a good mood, you like to have your favorite foods, you like to have sweets, but when you are unhappy or sad, you seems to be our mood reflects the food habits and food choices in different conditions. You may also like pungent food or acid foods, while your friends may prefer mild or astringent foods. Lastly, your selection of foods may be based on the knowledge of food values. These basic influences affect your food habits as you tend to adopt the food practices of your family. Other influences. There are other influences that modify our food habits. For example, during the Second World War, rice, wheat, jowar and maize were distributed through the ration shop. As a result, people who were used to a single cereal diet learned to eat a multi-cereal diet. When you move away from the region of education or work, you are exposed to new foods and your eating pattern is modified. Traveling within your food region and outside also influences your food habits. Though food habits are affected by many influences, individual food intake is dependent on personal preferences, which are an important factor in deciding your nutritional status. Now, let's learn about factors affecting food acceptance. What are the factors which affects our food acceptance? First is your favorite foods. Your favorite foods may have been made for you by a loving relations or by maybe associated with the happy company of relative or friends. Perhaps your favorite Shrikhand Puri may have been served on your birthday, by which you may associate laddu with Diwali festival and gujiyas with Holi. You may also like some foods because your mother made them very tasty, so those foods are your favorite foods. You must be remembering about mangoes. You visit to your aunt or in the summer season, you like to have mangoes. So these are the favorite foods which are associated with our region, climate and with the different situations. Food rejected. Your eating pattern reflects the food accepted or also those who are rejected. As your food habit are being formed, there are positive as well as negative influences also. If leafy vegetables served at your home were overcooked, olive green and stringently, you may develop a dislike for that leafy vegetable. You may also dislike foods that you were made to be eaten when you were sick or unhappy. Do you remember your first day in the hostel or a new place where you were lonely that you could not eat the meal though you were very hungry? So different conditions also makes the food which we reject. Now, food associations. Food habits begin to form almost as soon as the baby is born. When you feel a baby when it is hungry, it has happy associations with food and people. If the child is forcibly fed when it is not hungry, it is likely to have adverse associations with food. As children grow up, some parents use food as reward or as a means of discipline. Like chocolates are given as a reward and favorite foods are withheld as a punishment. This results in confusing the child about the rational place of food in his or her well-being. The child may learn to use food acceptance or rejection to get attention. The parents. Thus, when you use foods in ways which have no relation to their basic function, you encourage development of poor food habits. As you know, food is a basic need for life and health. If you retain this focus, you can help the child to develop good habits. Now, creating good food habits in children. This is very important because children's when their food habits are good, when they grow as an adult, they retain those food habits and they will be healthier. So, you must be wondering why we should worry about the children's food habit. There are many reasons. As you remember, children will grow and develop to their full potential, both physically and mentally, only if they eat the right kind and amount of food. What you eat as an adult depends on lot on the eating habits you formed as a child. As you grow up, you get used to eating foods made in a certain way and without realizing it, develop a preference for it. In childhood, parents are your model. You tend to copy whatever your parents do. Food is no exception. There are parents who send their children to the best school but unknowingly set a poor example by practicing poor food habits. So, children learn from parents how to enjoy a wide variety of foods and be healthy. If you are a parent, setting a good example in food selection is as important as giving him the opportunity for good education. So, being parent, we should educate our kids for food and we should give food education also. Now in school age, when the child leaves the home, her choice is influenced by his friends, teachers and many other factors. Quite often, your child comes home and asks for the dosa which he has seen in his friend's lunch. Thus, you find that his food word is enlarged. You must pay special attention to help school age children to retain their good habits of food in early childhood. Once the child enters school, your attention is diverted to books, uniforms and many other things, but we should care of their food habits also. The school schedule affects their food habits. You tend to serve breakfast and lunches in a hurry. You pack concentrated sweets or fried snacks if you give a packed lunch. So, having learned about children and their needs in a growth, you must realize that the quantity and quality of food is very important while preparing the snacks for the children. Convenience of food preparation. You must have observed that a lot of emphasis is placed on convenience of food preparation in recent years. This has affected our food habits to a large extent. The man of the house as well as his wife are very much interested in his aspect of meal planning, preparations and service. One of the reasons may be that more and more women form a part of the workforce or participate in the community activities. As a result, there is a lot of emphasis on the ease of food preparation. You may have observed that in a large number of families, time to prepare a meal is kept to a minimum and they select foods and plan menus with this target in view. A number of things have contributed to this change. A number of convenience foods have come into the market. Seeing this, so you get ready-made mixes instant beverages and a lot of ready-made foods like bread, biscuits, different ready-made mixes, save, Juda mixture and many other to reduce food preparations to the minimum. Though ease in food preparation is a very important goal, you should not let it lead you to poor nutrition at high cost. You should take care of the nutrition also, nutrient also and for the cost of the recipe also. You can serve quick and easily prepared meals and not sacrifice nutrition and money if you put your nutritional knowledge to use. When you select ready-to-made foods, check how these fit into menu you made using the daily food guide. For example, the increased use of salads and fruits is certainly a step in the right direction, but the extensive use of fried and sweet snacks and of the instant beverages contribute very little nutrient in comparison to the caloric content. If you use these once in a while, it may not matter, but if these have become a part of your tea time and hospitality, you need to check how these affect your daily food intake. We need to be vigilant in our food selection and choices. Guiding the food habits of adults. Ideally, by the time we reach adulthood, we should have developed a healthy eating pattern. Unfortunately, for some, this does not happen. Some of you may think that you reaching adulthood is a signal for you to eat what you please and when you please. Since you are economically independent, you may tend to buy expensive foods which have your status symbol. These changes are likely to affect your health and well-being if continued for long. Food habits are closely associated with your sense of security, and any modification, particularly in adult stage, will require a strong motivation. Energy need decreases with age. Modification in food habits need to be made to reduce energy intake as people grow older. The overweight person you see is a proof that they have not made the adjustment. You may observe some people who are not overweight but eat foods that do not meet their needs for their nutrients except calories. So it's difficult for such people to see the needs for change because they maintain their weight and do not associate any symptoms of poor health they may have due to their eating habits. When to attempt habit modification? Dietary habits lead to poor health. You may attempt to modify them. You must be cautious in your approach in modifying the food habits of people. You will need to understand the background of their food habits before you can help them to improve or change their diet. The desire for good health is universal to all. It can be used as a motivating force to help yourself and also others. For example, a diabetic who wants to control her diabetes or a heart patient who wants to lose weight have a strong motivation for change. All you need to provide them a reliable information about how to select and prepare different foods to meet their specific requirement. Motivating people to change their food habits which are beneficial to their health is still a challenging task. Those who have a good attitude towards all food have a spirit of adventure that prompts them to taste new foods or try new ways of preparing food. They adjust more easily to modification in diet, be it for health response or due to changes in availability of familiar foods. We should monitor our food habits also. It is good to remember that our appetite is not necessarily a guide to help us select food for adequate nutrition. If appetite could guide us, we would not see so many obese and underweight people. You can also help your family and friends to monitor the food requirements and advise them. Your food habits are good if you like and eat variety of foods from each of the food groups. It does not mean you like and eat all foods with equal enjoyment. If you like and include some of foods from each group to meet your nutritional needs, your food habits are good. If you eat only what we like and what is tasty and exclude foods from other groups, it will disturb your nutritional requirement and you can suffer from nutritional lack. Thus, our food habits can be either as assets or a liability. So, let us sum up what we have learned till. Food habits are affected by the food supply, region, community, personal preferences and also our knowledge of food values. The association you have with your food influence your eating behavior. Parents are responsible for creating good food habits in children by their own example. They need to ensure that children retain healthy food habits even after they go to school and college. The ease of food preparation affects our food habits. You find that adults who have a strong motivation do succeed in changing food habits to improve their health. A little checkup at regular intervals can ensure your nutritional needs through healthy food habits. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed this session.